7th meeting of the Health, Education, and Housing Facilities Board for the city of Chattanooga. I am Richard Johnson. I'm the co-chair. We do have a quorum, and it has been duly advertised as indicated, right, Ms. Secretary? Or
Yes, sir. It has been advertised, and this is a TEFRA hearing, which is required to be advertised at least 7 days in advance, and we have 2 TEFRA hearings this morning here, or actually 3 TEFRA hearings this morning. Yes.
Thank you for that. Okay, first order of business is you, in your packet, you have the minutes from the last meeting. I will entertain a motion to accept those as submitted, or if there's any discussion or corrections on there, this is time to note those as well.
Move they be approved.
Second.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the next item of business, as always, we welcome and recognize any individuals that would like to come before this board and address any initiatives or concerns they may have. Okay, please note that there are none. So we'll move into the first item of official business, which is the TEFRA hearing. This is a resolution for the Health, Education, and Housing Facility Board of the City of Chattanooga, Tennessee, relating to the issuance of multifamily housing revenue bond for an amount not exceeding $18 million to provide financing to Eastwood Manor 2 LP for the acquisition, construction, and equipping of a multifamily housing facility for low and moderate income citizens to be located at 3831 Wilcox Boulevard, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Is there someone here representing?
Mr. Moneyhunt.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, my name is Jay Moneyhunt. I'm with Bassberry and Sims. We're serving as bond counsel for this proposed bond issuance. I have here Deidre Burrows and Joe Engel with the developer. This is an existing property that they are planning on acquiring and rehabbing, and will be applying to THDA for tax-exempt bonds and low-income housing tax credits, similar to the other 2 that are on the agenda today. So this is the initial step that's required in order to apply to THDA. One, we have to propose an inducement resolution that's in front of this board and get your acceptance and approval of that. And then 2, we have to hold the TEFRA hearing. And once those 2 requirements are met and they meet the other THDA requirements, then they'll be able to apply. They're hoping to apply in the first round this year, which will likely open sometime in between February and March. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about the specifics of the project, Deidre and Joe would be happy to answer those. And if you have any questions about the bonds.
Yeah, I mean, since this is going to be a TEFRA hearing at this time, the public would have an opportunity to ask questions. So at least give us a little bit about what's proposed here, how many units and that sort of stuff. That would help.
Sure. Hi, I'm Joe Engel, and this is Deidre. So this is an existing property built in 1977. It's 98 units. They're all studio 1 and 2 bedrooms. It's got 100% project-based Section 8 on it. So the eligibility is not only 50% or less of the area median income, you also have to be a head of household or co-head that's either disabled or over 62. So in HUD's world, it's considered an elderly property. So we plan to do about a $7.5 million hard cost renovation, full, complete interior rehab, exterior rehab, common area, adding services such as a health clinic so that for the frail and elderly, physicians can come there and help them with their needs. So in a nutshell, that's the plan.
How quickly do you plan on trying to be able to be open and available?
So it's already 100% occupied.
Right.
And so because of the scope of work, the residents will need to be relocated temporarily. So we typically would use an extended stay hotel on our dime as part of the cost. And we put them up, probably a the 40-day rehab while they're relocated, and we try to do a building at a time, is typically the way that would flow. And they come home to a brand-new home,
All right.
so.
Great. So to reiterate, those folks by building will be moved at your expense for 30 to 45 days and then moved back at your expense as well.
That's correct.
So they'll never be without a place to stay at any time.
We pay the movers to pack up their stuff, put it in a pod, help them get to the hotel if they need to, see if they have any special requirements while they're relocated. We check and see how they're doing. That's probably the biggest challenge in
Sure.
these is taking care of the residents, so.
Yeah. And again, that's all on your dime.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should say quarter these days, right?
Maybe 50 cents, I don't know.
Thank you.
I'm having a hard time trying to picture this particular property on Wilcox.
Yeah, it's 3831 Wilcox, so looking at Chattanooga, you got the airport over to the right. It's kind of northwest of the airport. Mm-hmm. I'm out of Knoxville, so I don't know Chattanooga.
So is it closer to Jersey Pike?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, cause see, Wilcox, because
It's-
I live in the Wilcox area and this just doesn't ring a bell
Yeah,
to
and
where
it
it's
looks,
located.
it's even though it's 98 units, there's like 10 or 12 properties. They're all one level. It doesn't look like a typical elderly mid-rise or high-rise. It's like garden style, almost like patio homes. They're brick.
Okay, this is across from the old Red Food Store, right off
Yes.
down that way, Eastwood Manor, a couple of houses back off
Yeah.
the way. Okay, I know exactly where
Very,
you're,
very,
Dalewood area.
Oh, yes, that's
Right
right.
across the street from Dalewood Middle School.
That's
Very-
right at Shallowford and Wilcox.
I know
right?
exactly where,
Yeah,
like I said, I
okay,
live in
yeah.
that area.
It's a
and I know the picture.
single-family
Yes.
dominant neighborhood. It's a
Right.
great place for an elderly property.
Yes,
Right,
it
right,
is,
yeah.
very good, yes.
Well, sounds like a good investment, that is.
I have a question. Of those 98 units, what is the breakdown of one bedroom, two bedroom? Are they all uniform in size or?
The largest is a one-bedroom. We have less than that as far as studios and not a lot of twos.
Yeah.
And in the elderly, typically, they're one-family households. Sometimes they have a live-in aide. Do you have the unit mix?
There's 30 studio, there's 54 one-bedrooms, and 14 two-bedrooms, to give you an idea.
Thank you, that's helpful.
Sure.
Are there any other challenges that you foresee with this kind of monumentally sized project?
This is what we do, and, the key is getting our team together, so, we haven't, this has been, the back end of this, before we get to the application stage, we've already done drawings with our architect. We have to make sure everything we touch is meeting 504 disability code, and it's a great chance to breathe new life into an older property that's obviously needed. So
Again, your timeline is when do you?
the application for the round one window, and it's important that we get in the round one because a preservation of an existing affordable housing takes precedence in all the applications that are submitted. So that window is between like April, or the first week of February and middle March. And then we probably will find out in July or August if we have an award. And we have 30 days to accept the award once we are awarded it. And then we have to close within 90 to 120 days. So we will close in 2025, and we will finish the rehab in 2026.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Chair. Another question regarding the THDA application. With your finances and your proposal, do you anticipate any, if interest rates continue to rise, any inability to move forward with the financing?
We have a sensitivity. I think we're covered if they fluctuate, 50 basis points to maybe 75. I mean, that's about all you can do in this environment. If they were to go up higher, we would have to do something more creative with sources, but that's why once you get the award in June or July, they give you 30 days, and that's the way we make sure our loan and our credits and construction costs, that's a moving target too. So.
Okay, thank you.
You consider the bond financing rate of this board as an incentive to be able to do that as well?
That's correct.
Yes, sir. Okay. Since this is a TEPRA hearing, I guess we need to make sure if there's anybody that would have any questions about this in the audience. If you have any questions regarding this particular project, please speak now, and if not, we've given you a chance. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Board members, any other questions, discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve the preliminary bond resolution as
Okay.
presented.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you very much. Next item on the TEPRA hearing part of the program is Hamilton South Limited Partnership Preliminary Board Inducement of $48 million. A resolution to the Health, Education, and Housing Facility Board of the City of Chattanooga, Tennessee relating to the issuance of multifamily housing revenue bonds for an amount not exceeding $48 million to provide financing to Hamilton South Limited Partnership for the acquisition, construction, and equipping of a multifamily housing facility for low and moderate income citizens to be located at 7610 Standiford Gap Road, Chattanooga, Tennessee, HEB 2020-2502. Someone here from representing?
We had a motion and second. We have an approval by the whole board of that last one. Okay, all right, unanimous. All right, no problem. Okay.
All right, yes, so similar standpoint from the bonds here. This is a proposed new construction project. It's actually a partnership with the Housing Authority, which I believe was a proposal that was sent out for requests, and the developer that was awarded the request is bringing this proposal. It is on the tax credit side of the transaction. It's what's called a fair cloth to RAD transaction, which helps with the rents and how the project operates. And Mr. Leach was coming, who was with the developer, but I'm not sure if he was able to. I don't know if someone from the Housing Authority may be able to answer some questions about the proposal process. This one actually is scheduled probably to go in for round 2 for application. They're still working out some of the details as to the mix of the units, and also because of the change in administration with the new president, some of the HUD vouchers that are available are a little bit in flux. So the developer's working with the Housing Authority to determine what vouchers may be available. So they're in a little bit of a holding pattern, but they wanted to go ahead and bring the initial request to the board to get your approval, so that once they get those details worked out, they'd be able to act quickly and apply to THD DA likely in round 2. So I don't know if anyone else has any comments or info about the project. So
We got a $48 million request, so anything about the number of units, what's involved, they probably need a little more than that if they can.
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, please, if you would, ma'am.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
We've never officially met.
Yeah,
Hi.
good to see you.
Nice to see you. Hi, good afternoon. I'm Betsy McCride. I'm the Executive Director of the Chattanooga Housing Authority. So I can add just a little bit. We have entertained an application using a fair cloth to RAD conversion process which creates vouchers for this particular developer. We have not yet awarded those vouchers. We are in negotiations, as the gentleman said, about the number of units, the timing. And just last week, we were told by HUD, excuse my coughing and my cold, that we're not allowed to issue any new vouchers at this time. So, as he mentioned, we are in a holding pattern, but we are looking carefully at the project to determine the scope of it and how we can help if we can get beyond this funding piece from HUD.
Okay.
And that's about all I've got.
Right, yeah,
I
that's-
hope that helps.
That's where we have now.
So how big are units, do you know on there?
The $48 million request was based on, I think, 198 to 200 units, and so that's what they're planning to apply for now, right?
Yeah, and we would have to take a close look at that number because we've taken the position throughout our new developments that we don't want to create large pockets of low-income development. So we're talking to them about numbers and what would be acceptable to the Housing Authority to create a mixed-income community, which is really our preference, not just all low-income housing in one site. So it's all in flux a little bit right now.
Okay.
So you're saying you don't know at this point? Because to come to us for $48 million and us not knowing a few key details, I think is pretty important.
I think you're right. I was unaware this was being brought here today, so when I heard vouchers being mentioned, it kind of raised a question in my mind. If we are able to reach consensus with this developer, we are always willing to award an appropriate number of vouchers to expand affordable housing because we need it here. But right now, the Housing Authority's position is we don't have enough to actually make that award. And in fact, we're in a moratorium on awarding vouchers right now through mid-March.
So I would assume that you would come back when you have all the specifics before this board and give us all the particulars, correct?
Yeah, we can certainly do that. Just as a little bit more background, when we published the notice, that, this one was all going ahead, and then we've been chatting with Joe Kelly and the developer, and that's last week is when they found out that, HUD was pulling, not able to commit to some of the vouchers. So a few of the items are in flux. And like I said, I thought Mr. Leach was going to be here, but yeah, I mean, one option would be to postpone. If y'all didn't feel comfortable and not knowing enough of the specifics, we could postpone because they do have a little bit of time before round 2 would open up. This would authorize up to $48 million, and if for whatever reason they needed to ratchet that back some for, whenever the Housing Authority does get more confirmation from HUD, then they could ratchet it down. They couldn't exceed that amount, but they could decrease it. So
I appreciate that.
Whatever the board feels
Yeah,
comfortable
and
with.
certainly this has nothing to do with either of your credibility. It's just that in terms of due diligence and really the fiscal responsibility this board has, I for one think that we should have as much information as possible in terms of the numbers, how they're going to be structured, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, an approximate timeline. And I think that we've been very supportive of all of your activities, and I don't expect that to change, but I would just like to have a little more information before we, make any sort of commitment. But I would get council's input on that as well.
Yeah, just wondering, would a deferral of a month help you, or do you need more than a month?
It's probably a little bit of a moving target, hopefully within a month. But with the new administration now in and HUD still trying to figure out kind of where they're going to be in funding and how many vouchers they're going to have, we'd probably just have to let you know. And it may be a month. They may know. It may be longer than that.
HUD had told us last week that it would go at least until mid-March on, basically the moratorium on issuing vouchers. And we'll see where we are from there. Honestly, it's a waiting game right now in terms of the funding.
Trying to see the next meeting of this board in March. Let's make sure about timing on that.
Ms. Betsy, do you mind to speak on the criteria for the vouchers and how they are kind of, divvied out amongst those applicants?
I can speak generally about how we award the vouchers. Basically, the developer has to submit our request for proposals, and then we assess those proposals, we bring it to our board, and they award some number of vouchers. These are Faircloth to RAD conversions, which are a different flavor of voucher. In the typical project-based voucher environment, the participants have to be at or below 50% of AMI, area median income, sorry. But in the Faircloth to RAD, they're treated more like public housing, so the income levels can go up to 80% of AMI. And this will be one of our first awards if we do it under this new Faircloth to RAD conversion. As you know, we've done a lot with project-based vouchers, so this is a new one for us. But we have about 1,200 Faircloth to RAD units available. The reason they become available is when we take down a property, such as Harriet Tubman or Poss Homes, we're able to retain those public housing units in our community. But until last November, there was no way to fund those units. So this is a great mechanism to try and replace those units that have been lost over the years and to fund them adequately so that we can expand affordable housing. That's in a nutshell.
No, perfect, thank you.
And I like that, and I agree with that, but I, for one, would feel more comfortable, and we can do it as soon as March 17th, if you came back to this board with more specifics and particulars relative to this specific project and how that $48 million is going to be spent.
No, I think that's totally
And
fair.
I hope you understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Any other comments from?
I have one additional question regarding the location of this. Is it currently raw land, or was something removed for the?
Stand to forget, yeah.
Yeah.
Raw land.
I don't know if we need a motion
forget,
to defer.
Need a motion to defer until March 17th.
Well, I'll make that motion then.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Thank you all for
We
coming.
pass, so. And thank you. We'll look forward to that information on the 17th. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
I should have asked you. Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 7, temporary hearing on the 1 West Side Phase 2B Limited Partnership Preliminary Board inducement of $20 million. A resolution of the Health, Education, and Housing Facility Board of the City of Chattanooga, Tennessee, relating to the issuance of multifamily housing revenue bonds for an amount not exceeding $20 million to provide financing to 1 West Side Phase 2B Limited Partnership for the acquisition, construction, and equipping of a multifamily housing facility for low and moderate income citizens to be located at 1150 Boynton Drive, Chattanooga, Tennessee, HEB 2025-03. And you're up again. So.
All right, yes.
You're a busy guy today.
This one is very far down the road. As you know, this board issued bonds for Phase 1 last year. That bond issuance closed and is moving forward. This is Phase 2 of this West Side project that'll be financed with tax-exempt bonds. Jim Grawley is here today and can provide lots of details on the plans and project.
Thanks. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Grawley from Columbia Residential, and we're in partnership with the Housing Authority, the Chattanooga Housing Authority. This is, as Jay said, the second phase. We are applying for it. If you recall, this is part of a Choice Neighborhoods initiative, and the city of Chattanooga was blessed to receive that. And so we actually have phases happening very quickly. So our first phase, you supported, and we were able to close the bonds in November. Out at the site, it's on the site of on 12th Street, and so you can see demolition of existing structures happening now. We're planning to have construction start there in early March. And so this is the second phase that we are applying for. The window we're applying for, as others have mentioned, is the first round of the Tennessee Housing Development Authority round. That opens on the 21st of February, closes on the 19th of March. So we need to be ready for that and requesting this inducement. The development will be a new building of 144 units. We have a unique financing structure here like we did with Phase 1. It's called a twinning. And so it incorporates 90 units in the phase that we are requesting the inducement for $20 million of bonds. So it'll actually be a combined structure like our Phase 1. It will serve residents. This is a second phase that is built off-site from College Hill Courts, so residents can move to off-site housing before there is demolition of the existing housing. The Housing Authority and the other partners of the Choice Neighborhoods Initiative with the city are working very closely with residents, surveying their interests, understanding what their interests are as far as where they want to live, and working with them on their family self-sufficiency. So that's a tremendous asset that the families have. So a little over 40% of the residents in this new phase will be residents from College Hill Court relocation. We'll also have units at 60% and 80% AMI, and then we'll have units that are unrestricted, meeting the goals of the plan, which are for mixed income development. So it's similar to Phase 1, not quite as large, and has different building characteristics. It's on Boynton Drive, just to the south of the high-rise towers that you see there, on land that the Housing Authority currently owns and built into the hillside. A little bit complicated on construction, but a great location. So I'd be happy to answer other questions.
Of the 144 units, what's the breakdown as far as bedrooms?
The bedroom mix on this one is 86 one-bedrooms and 58 two-bedrooms. It's 60-40. And part of that, there's two reasons for that. One is that we had 3-bedroom units in Phase 1, and we plan to have a lot more in Phase 3. But this building is an elevator-served building with structured parking, and so it will have 1s and 2s, and the majority of the residents relocating out of College Hill are 1- and 2-bedroom households. So,
Again, the timeline, you're closing in mid-March, so what's your timeline for construction and completion?
well, on the first phase, we're closing in March, and so that timeline runs through third quarter, fourth quarter of 2026, when the buildings will be delivered. This is the second phase. The second phase, we plan to close in December. That's really your outside date, as others have mentioned on THDA. And so we're in full-blown design and work in pre-development. We'll be making our applications. We submitted an application to THDA on January 17th that was for economic development set-aside that gives this project a much better chance of getting funded. In fact, a set-aside chance of getting funded. And so we're hoping to hear on that, and we'll make our application. But we plan to close this phase in December of 25, and it would run into the summer of 27 for new construction.
And these are all new units, so no one's will be out of a place to live that will be moving into these new units, correct?
That's correct. This is on vacant land where this is being built. What it's going to do is it's going to facilitate and accelerate the opportunities for people moving out of the College Hill housing, which is seen as obsolete, and the plan calls for it over a phased period of time to be demolished.
Okay, thank you. Well, based on your credibility for Phase 1, so thank you again for bringing Phase 2.
Well, we really
to us.
appreciate your support. These applications could not go forward without the support of the city and without the support of the Health and Ed Board.
Well, thank you. Any questions from the board?
No.
No.
I have no questions for you, Ronnie.
Okay, again, thank you so much. At this point, like I say, a lot of it, from my perspective, is based on the great job and the great work they do in the past, and also with Phase 1 of this project. I would entertain a motion to accept this resolution.
Go ahead and make that motion, Vice Chair.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Unanimously approved. The final item on the agenda is the 1400 Chestnut Pilot Agreement and Lease. This is a resolution authorizing this chair or vice chair to execute assignment and assumption documents related to the 1400 Chestnut Pilot, which of course is in payment in lieu of taxes, and purchasing and sale with HZ Chestnut DSC will acquire the 1400 Chestnut multifamily housing development on February the 5th, 2025, reference HEB 2025-04. So someone bring us up to date on that and give us an overview, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you. My name is Cameron Hill. with Baker Donaldson here in Chattanooga. I represent Street 1400 Chestnut LLC, and we have representatives of both the buyer and the transferee in presence today if the board has any questions. This is a simple process of transferring a pilot agreement to a new owner of the facility. Pilot's in compliance. It's a well-maintained, well-run operation. The acquiring entity is well-financed, is already present in the Chattanooga area with 2 locations. And if you want more details about the extent of the acquiring entity's business, we have a representative president who can answer those questions. But this is, yes, ma'am.
I would like to know about those existing properties at the current time.
Yes, ma'am. This is a transfer of an existing pilot agreement, and it's fairly straightforward. And now, ma'am, would you like him to
Yes,
answer
I'd
the
like to
question?
know about the properties that you already own here in the area.
Well, and also, he's coming, just as a point of order, please continue. I can talk while you're making your way to the podium. As a point of order, some pilots, as most of you know, are not assignable. This particular pilot has, and correct me if I'm wrong, counsel.
Yes, sir.
Has been assigned once, and it is eligible for this new assignment as well.
Yes,
So
sir.
he, as he said, everything is in compliance, so the board should know that, yes, this is all perfectly acceptable if we deem appropriate.
That's correct. Section 15 of the pilot agreement specifically entitles it to be transferred and assigned.
And this particular pilot has been ongoing for a number of years in that regard, and is at this point in time, 100% no increases until 2026. And after that time, there is a step up in the valuation of the property for a 4-year term until 2031, at which time it'll be at 100% on here for us to receive. So that's the terms of the original pilot that they would be stepping into.
They would adhere to that, right?
Yes.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your time. My name is Mitchell Curran. I am in-house counsel for the acquiring entity on behalf of Hamilton Zands, San Francisco-based multifamily investment company and manager. We are already in Tennessee. We have 11 assets, 2 assets in Chattanooga. One is Bluebird Row. That's at 1348 Passenger Street. And that has, give me a moment, please, 283 units, and the other property is 5 Points North Shore. And if you give me a moment, I can give you the address on that one. That is at 328 Cherokee Boulevard. So we know the community, we like it, and we want to keep being involved and fully intend to comply with all the terms of the pilot agreement and including the affordability aspect, and just be good stewards of the property and continue what Highmark has done and continue it into the future.
Well, you just, excuse me.
Additional questions from the board?
Well, I just wanted to reiterate what you just said, because that's, in my mind, the most important statement that you made, that you fully intend to continue to comply with the terms of the original pilot agreement. We don't do a lot of those anymore, to make transfers from one to another. So I think that's the key point that I was concerned about. And you have the ability to do that.
Yes, fully intend to, yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
With both of your known commodities that you just mentioned, 5 Points and Bluebird, those are awesome, spectacular communities. The affordability aspect, of course, there has to be parity amongst the board. How do you see that playing out in the future, knowing what you've done and knowing kind of where Chattanooga's going as well to fit all Chattanoogans? That's a lot in a question, but.
Our commitment is, to the community, the residents. I don't have offhand the business plan for this property, but, fully intend to just be a strong part of the community, offering housing at, affordable rates and working with the community to provide that really important housing.
Great, thank you.
Any additional questions?
I think I'm set.
I'm okay.
That's all.
I'm good.
Okay, thank you very much, appreciate that.
Thank you.
At this time, the board will entertain a motion to execute this assignment and all compliance issues related to this for them. We'll entertain a motion for that. Okay, is there a second? Second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, unanimous passes. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, having no other business, Mr. Attorney, I would like to thank the board.
There's a report on the back side here.
I beg your pardon. It certainly is. Sorry about that. Item 9, the report on debt obligation relating to the One West Side Plaza 1B Series 2024 multifamily housing revenue bonds is in the amount of $35 million.
And I assume that that was a report that was given to our finance folks here on I guess, that particular item here. We did actually have to send that to the Secretary of State here in the Comptroller's office, and been no issues on it since we filed that report.
Okay.
And that should have been included in your packet.
Right, yeah. Okay. I apologize. Okay, thank you.
So you're good.
Yep. You're under the 35 million.
That's just a form that we have to file with the state after every bond issue, and it's just provided to the board for notice purposes,
Okay.
but there's no action that has to be taken on it.
But we have filed the report, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
Yes, all right, no problem.
Okay. Well, having said that, I would like to thank the board. We kind of blew through $100 million worth of money today, but no, seriously, it's all for good cause, and it's certainly what this board does. So thank you, guys, for your stewardship and your fiscal responsibility on that, and thank you, council, as always, for your great insight. Having said that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you.